Short-term rentals were supposed to be the golden ticket, passive income, flexible travel, financial freedom. So why are so many hosts quietly listing their properties back on Zillow? The Airbnb dream didn't die overnight, but something shifted. And if you're still chasing it without understanding what changed, you might be the last one holding the bag. A few years ago, cities were practically rolling out the red carpet for short-term rental hosts. Permits were easy, neighbors were tolerant, and the money was flowing like a broken vending machine. Then came the regulators, the neighborhood associations, the hotel lobbyists, and suddenly your cute little cabin in the city needed a license, a fire inspector, a noise monitor, and apparently the blessing of 3 city council members and a notary. The deeper why here isn't really about Airbnb. It's about what happens when a disruptive idea scales faster than the systems built to contain it. When you flood a housing market with short-term rentals, you squeeze out long-term renters, anger locals, and eventually trigger the kind of political backlash that turns a profitable loophole into a legislative battlefield. New York City essentially banned short-term rentals outright with Local Law 18, and overnight, thousands of listings vanished like they were never there. Barcelona, Amsterdam, and dozens of other cities followed suit, proving this wasn't a local quirk, it was a global policy wave crashing directly onto your bottom line. And let's talk about the cleaning fees, because nothing captures the absurdity of modern Airbnb like paying $150 to clean a studio apartment where you stayed for one night. Guests are revolting, literally leaving 1-star reviews, booking hotels instead. And the whole experience economy pitch is starting to feel like it needs its own experience to recover. The occupancy rates that once made hosts feel like real estate geniuses have softened considerably in most markets. Some analysts report average occupancy dropping from the mid-70% range down to the 50s or lower in oversaturated cities. It's the classic gold rush hangover. Everyone showed up with a pan, and now there's less gold and way more pans. But here's where history becomes your best friend. Every asset class that gets hot, gets regulated, gets written off, and then quietly becomes profitable again for the people who stayed disciplined. We saw it with multifamily housing in the 90s, we saw it with vacation rentals post-2008, and the pattern is almost boring in how predictably it repeats. The misconception you need to drop right now is that regulation means death. Regulation actually means consolidation. And consolidation means the amateurs exit while the operators with systems, scale, and compliance knowledge start winning. The market doesn't disappear, it just gets smaller, cleaner, and more profitable for whoever's left standing. Practically speaking, the hosts who are still thriving aren't the ones with one cute condo in a regulated city. They're the ones in rural markets, resort towns, and secondary cities where demand is high, competition is lower, and local governments haven't yet weaponized their zoning codes. If you're entering this space now, geography is your underwriting, not just your preference. The cleaning headache is real, but it's a systems problem, not a death sentence. Hosts who build reliable local cleaning crews, automate guest communication, and price cleaning fees honestly are running lean operations while the complainers are still posting in Facebook groups. Discipline in operations is exactly what separates a short-term rental business from an expensive hobby. Don't bet the farm on one listing in one market with one regulatory environment, because that's not investing, that's gambling with better Instagram content. Diversify your exposure, keep your position sizes reasonable, and treat each property like a hypothesis you're testing, not a conviction you're married to. The philosophical truth underneath all of this is that no strategy is forever, and the investors who adapt without ego are the ones who compound wealth while everyone else is mourning a strategy that used to work. Short-term rentals are still worth it, just not for the reasons in the markets, or with the assumptions that made them famous 5 years ago. Whether you end up bullish on Airbnb, pivot to midterm rentals, or decide long-term leasing is your lane after all, the win is in knowing your numbers, respecting the regulations, and building a process that doesn't depend on everything going perfectly. And if you want help figuring out your next move in real estate investing, finding the right contractors, or connecting with lenders who get it, check out our links in the description below.